Yeah, good morning, Ian. We have seen inflation return above 10%. Brief respite in July, but here you can see back above 10%, the number we last had in July. And if you want to see the last time we saw inflation at those kind of levels, we're talking back in the 1980s. So these are steep housing costs that are inflation costs that are hitting consumers at every level. What's the biggest driver of the increase? Well, it's food inflation, up to 14.5%. Again, a high we haven't seen since the 1980s. And look, these are the components that are driving this inflation up. We knew housing costs were rising. Of course, energy is a component there. Food, the big mover in this latest month. Transport costs, actually, fuel costs are falling back. So transport not contributing as much, but still an enormous amount. And restaurants and hotels, of course, many of their input costs come back to food. Now, we know the Chancellor is looking at the impact on his £70 billion black hole of these figures because the 10.1% figure in this month set the uprating, if the Conservatives stick to their manifesto pledge, for benefits. Now, what might they save were they to go instead with the lower earnings figure? It would break the manifesto commitment, there'd be political pain. In terms of the balance sheet for the Chancellor, £5.6 billion he would save in pensions payments and £2.4 billion if that was applied to benefits. A total of £8 billion. That's pretty attractive to a Chancellor looking at a potentially £70 billion black hole. But the personal cost to some of the poorest in society is enormous. The numbers aren't as big, but the pain is very real. If we look at a disabled adult, if they went for that lower number, we'll be looking at £380 less in their annual budget. A single adult with one child, nearly £500 less a year. And a family that's renting and working, crucially, with 3 children, will be £1,000 worse off. So we can see the personal cost to those impacted by the very attractive savings, doubtless, to a Chancellor who's got a massive black hole to fill. And the numbers have just got harder because inflation is back up above 10%.